All right, everybody, we're back. Another Sunday, another episode. Here we go. This week's episode, I think we're actually finally moving away from America's politics and things happening in America for once. And I think we're actually going to discuss more about what's going on in the world. Because,
America was kind of boring this week.
yeah, this week America was kind of chill, I guess.
We
Not
got shot, which
no,
is good. Well, people got shot, but
nothing in the news
nothing's making headlines.
saying that like shit went crazy or anything like that. So, all in all, I'll say it was a decent week for America, I guess. Um, but yeah,
India's not in such good shape.
yeah, India is struggling right now. Trying to see if Combo sent me an article other than just videos. So no, he didn't. So basically, the long and the short of it is. With India right now, from what I understand, they tried to reopen up the country, basically before it was time for them anyway. And if you guys know anything about India, obviously they hold a vast majority of the world's population in that country, and many of their major cities are very overcrowded. So they tried to reopen the country up, I guess, before it was time. They have a different strain, different variant of COVID running through the country right now than what we have. And in opening the country up too early is a lot of people. They're up over, I think, what did it say here? They have three, and the numbers have probably changed since I looked at these numbers, but they're up over 3 million positive COVID cases, like active COVID cases, and their death toll has hit 200,000 people have died due to COVID. The big problem that they're running into right now is they are out of oxygen for their hospitals.
3,689 died in one day.
Yeah,
That's a 1 day mark. That's insane. People are dying out in front of the hospital.
yeah, because the hospitals right now they have no oxygen, and what little oxygen that they do have left, it's being sold out to the highest bidder. A lot of hospitals are so overcrowded that they've got two patients per bed now, so they're full past capacity. And they're actively just turning people away. So people are now just having to fight COVID at their house or wherever they are, wherever maybe an AIDS station has been set up, and people are just dying in the streets. Backseat of their cars, their own homes. There's no more room in the crematories for them. So now they're just having mass cremation sites out, and they're just basically just burning bodies en masse,
Yeah.
just because they have nowhere to put the amount of people that have died. They have nowhere to put them.
There's a photo of a guy carrying a wheelbarrow full of firewood and just like fire pits set up like every 6 feet, and they're just cremating people just in the middle of the field.
Yeah, India is struggling right now. Whatever vaccines, from what I understand, from whatever extra vaccines that we have that are like at a use or lose point, because once they're unfrozen, you can't refreeze them. America is sending those to India now to try and help get people vaccinated to try and slow down what's happening over there. But India is in dire straits right now, and they need some help.
Are the vaccines that we have, that's universal, like it works against this new Brazilian strain, right?
I am not 100% sure on that. From when we did our podcast and talked about the vaccines and stuff, I think most of the vaccines that we have here in the US were made based around the initial strain that came out. So I
So
mean, so now it's a different variant.
itself, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I don't know how well it's gonna help. It'll help the people that, for whatever reason, if that original strain's over there, it'll help those people out that catch that one. But we're at a point now where the virus has mutated enough in order to try and survive for itself that I don't know if these vaccines are going to help.
Rogan had another guy on this week talking about how
What's up, Greg?
chances of the fact that it came from that lab in Wuhan are pretty fucking high.
Yeah.
Pretty high. Nobody knows for sure, but to say that it leaked from that lab is no longer just like a conspiratorial idea. It's not evident, but you can connect some dots and be like, well, yeah, they were working on these COVID vaccines and they've been cited many times, like we talked about, and probably leaked out of there.
Yeah.
So thanks, China. Appreciate you.
Yeah, really, really helping. I've tried to turn Alex up, I guess, on here. I've got him louder in my headset now. We looked at this before we started, so hopefully we can figure it out.
I've got it turned all the way up. I can't.
Yeah, he's done everything on his end. Let me turn that up 100 on my end and see if that helps.
I'll just have to talk right into my mic.
I guess. Hopefully that helped you guys. But Luther's saying that the vaccine protects against every variant that we've seen so far. The problem is not enough supply. So.
Oh, well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
I mean, the more people get vaccinated, the better off we'll all be. I wonder why their death toll is so high. I mean, it's got to be just like an overall, like, immune deficiency.
I mean, it's like anything. It's over like when disease ran rampant through New York and all the tenement housings back there. You know, it just went because people were so packed in closely together. It just goes, and it's really hard to stop it. At that point, so yeah, there's just so many people that it just goes.
I mean, I understand why the transmission rate is so high there because there's so many people packed into such a small space. You know, I mean, it makes sense. And I'm sure like the sanitation conditions, like it's probably not super easy to come across some Lysol wipes in India, you know, but the death rate is what is like staggering to me.
Yeah. And I think that's partly due to just their medical infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean, here, Greg just got his second shot on Thursday, and his second shot really kind of fucked him up. He had a high fever and stuff, and it seems like the vaccine is the same as the virus, which makes sense because the vaccine is a virus. To where some people really get fucked up by it and, you know, have high fever, which I was telling Greg, I'm glad that the vaccine is what's making you sick and not the actual virus, because it could have been kind of bad. Both he and his wife were pretty sick after they got the second shot. But
yeah, usually
that many people die.
Yeah,
I mean, 3,600, almost 3,700 in one day.
That's crazy. Like that's like
insane.
Most of like from what I've seen from the little intel reports that I get per email stuff. With the Air Force will give us a daily tracker, I guess, of the COVID cases like in Jersey and New York and Philly and stuff. And like, so in a day, we'll have, 3,700 active cases or whatever. But that's like all the entirety of Jersey's active cases all just went in one day.
I mean,
that's crazy.
You think about like an average concert, has like what, 3,000 to 5,000 people. That's not, like John Legend or whatever,
yeah.
To just lay all those people out and be like, gone. That's
they just
staggering. It's crazy.
Thanos snapped into out of existence. Like that's crazy. So,
yes, Greg did beat me in golf after he got a second shot. Asshole.
Superpowers. So yeah, India is struggling and they need some help, man. So I guess, as much as it sucks for our friends to the north, Canada, not getting any vaccines from the U.S. I know Combo mentioned it to me earlier today that they're still struggling to get vaccines up there. He understands why. They understand why all those are now going to India, because India is just in such dire straits that they need all the help they can get right now.
I wonder what the percentage of India's population that smoke is, like smokers in India.
I feel like that's how I also feel like the pollution from their major cities
That
also
makes
plays a
sense also.
large factor into it.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Um,
Mixed with just poor living
yeah,
conditions
just
in the
poor
first place.
living conditions. Like the river that was it, is it the Ganges over there is just disgusting. But it's a holy river for them, so you know you can't really do much about it, I guess. But that river's just nasty. Like I think pretty much all the sewage and stuff from the towns drains into that, and just it's just the infrastructure is not there.
No. Well, and you still have things like malaria, pretty prevalent in areas like that. When people go to build wells in the Congo, I mean, I know we're talking about different
Yeah,
parts of the world, but a third world country, there's more diseases that are prevalent other than just COVID that
yeah. So I think
if you
a
get
lot
COVID on
of
top of it,
their stuff it's all compounding for them given everything, and then COVID comes in and kicks just piggybacks off of that because there's a guy in the Air Force that was deployed, and he was positive for COVID. Didn't have any symptoms or everything, but like smacked his head and cut his head open. But he went into a coma because that him having COVID and then injuring himself compounded the issue because
oh
now
yeah.
his body's fighting two things and trying to keep him alive and fight COVID and also trying to heal a head wound. So that's just like one example. So like I'm sure there's plenty of other things that they like we said, it just all compounded together
Yeah.
for them, and it's not good right now.
No. It lets you know that COVID is not fake.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
never been fake.
Never has. It's another disease that's come around, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to try and downplay it and say, oh, it's just a another flu, but it is kind of like a flu variant because the flu itself is a COVID, like a corona disease, like corona, like everybody says coronavirus, but that's just because that's what the virus looks like. So
Yeah.
it's a little ball with a bunch of little prongs sticking off of it, which kind of gives it like a crown like appearance. So corona in the Latin means crown.
One thing that I did not know, that I learned on that podcast this week is that Fauci is the head of the department that fields all of those studies on infectious diseases and like trying to find the disease in the wild and then manipulate it like in a lab,
Yeah.
you know? And it's very interesting because no one wants to speak out against Fauci because if you do, your funding is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have been saying that those studies they're not unethical, but they're dangerous.
They are
because of
dangerous.
the exact situation.
Yeah.
And if it does get traced back to the lab in Wuhan, that's going to add more fuel to the fire that we shouldn't be doing these studies. And that's a theory as to why they're so quick to say it came from the wild. It didn't come from the lab in Wuhan.
If it came, if it came from the wild, it'd be a little bit more resistant to UV light. So
yeah, weird, right? Also interesting that I didn't know that China told the American government when Trump was still in office, hey, shut the hell up about it coming from the lab, because if you want your masks, where most of the masks made China, if you want your mask, you better shut up and not talk about it coming from a lab, or else we're not going to send you your masks.
Yeah.
And so it was a very clear, not effort. It was a very clear point for our rhetoric to stay away from the fact that it could have come from a lab, because China was very vocal and saying, don't say anything about it or else we're not going to send you masks. Right. It's like, okay, well, if you're so sure it didn't come from a lab, why are you so worried about people talking about the fact that it came from a lab?
Right, which clues into what Luther said a little minute ago, which is like when COVID started, India was one of those countries that did a good job of masking it and masking how bad it was, because I'm sure the same thing got told to them that got told to the US was shut up about it if you want your masks or if you want help.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah. So Greg said, What are you guys' thoughts on people who refuse to get it, meaning the vaccine, and the people who scold those who don't get it? Is there a middle, and should people not be concerned with others' shots since this is a medical condition and HIPAA? So here's my thing. I'm in that camp of people, not that I refuse to get it, but I'm just not getting it now. I don't think you should scold somebody who doesn't want to get it.
My dad just scolded me on Friday for not getting it yet.
I think you have your personal freedoms and your personal liberties, and if you don't want to get it, then don't get it. So for me, the reason I'm not getting it until the military makes it mandatory for me to get it is the same reason that I didn't get flu shots for the majority of my life growing up. It's just because I would prefer myself to fight it off and figure and get it done that way. And for me, growing up, knock on wood, I didn't get sick very often because my body did a good job of fighting off anything that came into it. And part of that was due to my diet and how I grew up. So I have a strong immune system. So for me, that's where I'm at. And given the research that's been done on it, the percentage chance of me getting to, severe or a deathly level of, symptoms, it's very low.
It's funny because with HIPAA laws, they're in place to protect you from your medical information being shared. But now all of a sudden it's cool to post your COVID card on Instagram or whatever, which is fine. Like if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, it's your personal information. If you want to post it like that, then go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not scolding anyone for posting their COVID card. Hugo was like, wait a minute, they give you a card after you get vaccinated? They give you a card? I'm like, yeah, dude, have you not been on social media at all? He's like, well, what's to stop him from saying you can't travel without that card? I'm like, yeah.
Clearly, Hugo has not been tuning into the podcast on Sunday evenings.
Yeah, you're waking up a little bit, aren't you? Yeah.
Good. Now I have to go and scold. Now I have to go scold Hugo for not listening to the podcast on Sunday evenings.
Or Ozzy Osbourne is patient zero.
Started when he ate the bat back in the 70s. Now I have to scold Hugo for A, not listening on Sunday evenings, or B, not tuning in on YouTube later on. God damn it, Hugo.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, obviously. I think people could predict my answer to Greg's question. If you want to get it, get it. Just like COVID in general. If you want to go to a baseball game or a concert or a bar and put yourself at risk, go ahead. If you're not comfortable, stay at home.
Yep.
If you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. My brother's wife is pregnant, and I was thinking about it the other day in a conversation with him. I'm like, yeah, I should probably get the vaccine closer to when the baby comes around, just so we don't compromise immune systems or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll get it eventually. I'm just not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry to go inject some foreign antibodies or whatever you want to call them, some virus into my system. Same reason I don't get the flu shot. Never got it. Never saw a need to.
Yeah, and like we've said before, Alex and I we're not anti-vax, right?
No.
If I need to get a vaccination for something, for some disease that I need to be vaccinated for, then I'll go and get that vaccine. Because when I joined the military, I walked down a gauntlet of needles and got vaccines for all types of shit. And I'm not getting the vaccine because I think there's a government microchip in it. I sold my soul to the government. All right. If they wanted to microchip me, they gave that shit to me when I got the penicillin shot in my ass in boot camp. I'm sure that's where the chip is. So I probably have a microchip in my freaking right butt cheek right now. But that's not why. It's just based off
the scalpel out.
Right? Yeah. Get the scalpel every time I feel a weird bump in my ass cheek, I'm like, that might be the microchip they put in there. But it's not because I don't think they don't work or anything like that. It's just personal preference. I prefer to fight things off myself if it's a disease or something like the flu or anything like that. It's common. And I know, I've been around it or exposed to it enough that my I haven't gotten sick from it. My body's done a good job of fighting it off. Now, if it's a disease say, I don't fucking know, malaria or something, and I've never been to a country where I would be exposed to malaria, then fucking shoot me up, dude. put that fucking shit in my body so my body knows what to do if I come in contact with it.
You took the words out of my mouth talking about malaria earlier. If I was going to a country where malaria was prevalent, I'd be like, yeah, should probably get a vaccine. Make sure I don't get it. But going to work tomorrow, I'm not worried about it. So I think I'm good.
Yeah.
And I've been exposed twice directly to people who had COVID, tested negative both times.
I've probably,
and I don't know why or how, but here I am.
Yeah, and I've probably been around it through my old job or anything like that, just interacting day to day. That I, have probably been exposed to COVID at some point and had a negative test when I got tested, and I've been fine throughout the duration of this. So that's why I'm in the no thank you, I will get that later camp.
Yeah. And as long as people are around me that are high risk are vaccinated, I just don't feel the need to.
Yeah.
Right now.
At this point, take my vaccine and give it to somebody who needs it more.
Exactly. Send my vaccine to India.
Yeah. Yeah. India can have my dose. Like I'm good. I'm a young, healthy individual. I'll take my chances. Somebody else needs it.
Moderna and Pfizer are going to keep that bankroll coming. They're going to keep making more and more and more, which is great. Again, nothing against, well, I do have some things against those companies, but not because they made the vaccine, just because they're major pharmaceutical companies, right. And I hate big pharma, yep. But that's a different topic. But yeah, for now, send my vaccine to India because it looked like a apocalyptic type setting when I saw those photos of all of those fires set up like 6 feet apart. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, this looks like a fucking zombie land or something. This is why it looks like a war. Yeah. It looks like a battleground.
Yeah, it's not
crazy.
It's not good. I'm going to go on a little bit of tangent here off Coke's comment. He said, Coke was in the military too, and we all carry a cell phone. So the government already put what they want into my body, and I carry a tracking device. So fuck it. Like that's the thing. Like I don't get people's argument like, well, there's a tracking device in there, and I just want to look at it and be like, you have a cell phone, right? You have a smartphone. Well, yeah. Government knows where you are 24/7 because of that. You can turn your location services off all you want, but your SIM card still pings your location.
If you think they need a vaccine to know what you're doing and who you're talking to, you're wrong because they already know.
Edward Snowden wasn't wrong for exposing the NSA. I'll say it.
No. God, I wish Trump would have pardoned him.
Yep. Man, I don't blame him for running to Russia.
If he wanted to secure the bag for 2024, I still wouldn't have voted for him. But if he wanted to secure the bag for 2024, that would have been the best move he could have made.
Yep.
Snowden and Tiger King.
Maybe just stop at Snowden. I don't know about Tiger King.
I'm not saying Tiger King should or shouldn't. That's, different topic. Poor guy had a fucking limousine set up on Donald Trump's last day in office. All those fans out there like, he's getting released. He's going to get pardoned.
Nope.
And then Trump's like, deuces. See y'all at the Capitol.
Fucking wild. Luther Combo said he'd like to get an emphasis on like. I know, buddy. Luther said that he's gotten the vaccine. The vaccine is more important for people with comorbiditis or batitis. I guess I'm butchering that. Sorry. I will say this vaccine's in new technology that will help oncology patients in the future. True.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're not anti-vax. We're not against vaccines. If they come out with a vaccine for cancer, fucking sign me up for that shit.
Tomorrow,
I'll go get the cancer vaccine.
But I take vitamin D every day. I play way too much golf, so I'm spending a lot of time out in the sun. Not obese. If I was obese, I would probably want to get it. I've heard a lot of stories of people in the pandemic losing weight because of the fact that obese people are so high risk. Action Bronson was on Rogan recently, dropped like 85 pounds.
I like how it took a pandemic for obese people to go, oh, fuck.
Well, I'm not going to get off on a tangent, I promise. But in a world where you can't tell somebody, hey, you fat fuck, lose weight, and I say that lovingly. Like I was not very fat, but there was a point in my life where I was like a freshman in high school and I was getting pretty chubby. And I started going to a school where I had to tuck my shirt in.
Yep.
Sherryland, and I was tucking my shirt in every day, and my belly was hanging
Muffin
over my
topping
belt.
it.
Yeah, my belly was hanging over my belt, and I'm like, shit, I'm kind of fat. Like, I don't like this. And so I went on Atkins diet, lost some weight, never put it back on.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if self image doesn't get you, then something will, and it was the pandemic was enough for some people. So good on them for bettering their lives.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. But you can't body shame, and you can't tell somebody that they're unhealthy because they're overweight. But I guess in the middle of a pandemic, when people are like, hey, I should probably lose some fucking weight in case I get this virus, because if I get the virus, I'm going to be in trouble.
yeah,
Um, I guess that was one good thing.
there you go. Cabo said reason why Alex should get the vaccine. One, he's a redhead. Thanks for listening to my presentation.
Noted. Doesn't change my opinion. Still not going to run out and get it, but noted.
That's funny. Well, speaking of Combo, and I guess through Combo Canada, he got a hold of me today and said that Canada is introducing a new bill, basically around censorship and like social media and all that other kind of stuff. So, from what
I've heard a little bit about this. I'm not super educated.
yeah, so from what he said, there's a law in Canada right now that, as far as I think TV and radio is concerned, every 1 in 7 artists or TV shows or whatever that is played in the country has to be from like a Canadian artist or something like that. Just so you know, for the culture, for the culture. So now, I guess what this bill is called the bill is called Bill C-10, and it's basically trying to push that same type of law or rule into streaming services, i.e., Netflix and Hulu, and stuff like that. So it is commonly known as the streaming tax. Before it was introduced in Canada's Parliament, it's a piece of federal legislation tabled by their Heritage Minister Stephen Guilbeault. I don't know. That's super French. Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault. I don't know. Fucking French people.
Guilbeault. I don't
I don't know.
know.
Whatever. They're French. It's French. So the primary goal is to expand Canada's Broadcasting Act, which is, every 1 in 7 things that happen on TV or the radio must be, Canadian in origin. But now they're going to try to push that out to streaming audio or video content on the internet, including Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and other popular streaming services.
Sounds like it makes about as much sense as Andrew Cuomo trying to bring the quote unquote culture back to New York City with borderline flash mob dances.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
makes
so
a lot of sense. We're gonna beat COVID.
Guilbeault? Is that how that's supposed to be? Guilbeault? Okay, whatever. He's French. I don't care. He's French Canadian, which makes me care even less because they're weird.
The worst.
So anyway, it's going to put new taxes on content production requirements. There's a government program that funds officially recognized Canada content, and it's going to decide one way or another to force streaming services to fund or produce Canadian content. It doesn't make it clear right now. It's not clear which option is the most likely to happen on that. Yeah, so and it's not set out to help small and diverse content creators tell their stories. It's all for, big money things basically.
So instead of playing the music or the shows that are the best that people want to watch, we're going to play the movies and the shows that we think are most important in the name of culture.
Yeah, pretty much. And what it's going to do is, if it doesn't happen, it's going to force the cost of streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and stuff to go higher in Canada, because there's going to be an extra tax on them because they're not, footing Canadian content, and it'll probably mean that there's going to be more ads for, YouTube in Canada.
Dude, that's so insane. we live in a simulation, Ben. We live in a fucking simulation.
Well, what did I send you the other day that said the simulation was broken? Oh,
Oh,
Fucking the this is a wild like tangent right now that we're gonna get off on, but the CDC, this is what happened in
oh,
America. Not the CDC, the FDA is now planning to try and ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars, like i.e. Black and Milds, White Owl, whatever,
grape swishers.
grape swishers, because of the like disparity that it causes in health concerns that it's caused for minority groups and LGBTQ plus people. So basically, your
How
minorities and the gays are the
how
reason why menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars and cigarillos are getting banned. Which to me, my and I know we hate these, but my knee jerk reaction on this is like, damn, the FDA is racist as fuck.
I was just gonna say shout out to Spike Cohen. He tweeted the other day. He's like, the FDA banning menthol cigarettes, and this is where I first saw it, and I thought he was joking. Honestly, I thought it was like
No,
a
I saw
bill
it on
that was
Jerry
like,
News.
yeah, I thought it was like a bill that was being like proposed, like some woke bill, that would never get through. But then you sent it to me. I'm like, oh shit, this is really happening. And their reason is to protect the black and minority communities.
So like, what? So you're gonna ban those? So then what happens? The price of Marlboro Red skyrockets because that's the only thing available now. So now everybody has to smoke the white man cigarette, the cowboy cigarette, the cowboy
The,
killer.
I was just gonna say, what about the cowboy killer?
Yeah,
Like, all of them are bad.
yeah, like the one's not worse than the other one. One just tastes a little bit minty when you smoke it. The other one and the other ones. Now the other ones for banning like the flavored cigarillos. I don't know many people that smoke those just to smoke them. Those are used as
No.
a vessel for Mary Jane for the marijuana.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
feel like that's probably why they're trying to ban it.
I mean, I live in a pretty eclectic part of Omaha, and most times when I go into a gas station, I'm one of the few white people in there, which does make me feel uncomfortable. But I almost every time see one, if not two customers purchasing a pack of Newports and a couple Swisher Sweet blunt wraps is what,
They're
what
blunt wraps now. That's all they are. They're
being
not
used
actual
for.
cigarillos.
Yeah, maybe, hey, I'm not trying to be racist. Maybe they're smoking the Swisher Sweets and not putting anything else in it. Doubtful,
Yeah, highly doubtful.
but whatever. But to say that you're trying to protect the minority community by banning fucking Newports and Swishers,
Like this is dumb. We made a joke of it actually
goddamn racist.
in my shop that we're just gonna start stockpiling menthols. And one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna drive out to the neighborhood because there's places around that are like." That's what they affectionately call it, is the neighborhood, because the majority of people that live there are gay. And he's just gonna start selling them like the ice cream man,
Dude, yeah.
and just be like, "Come get your fucking Newports or whatever," because
if
you
you
can't get
were-
them at the gas station anymore.
If you were an entrepreneur, you'd go out and buy cartons and cartons of Newports right now, because those things are going to be worth the price of gold.
Right. And they
Yeah, before
also,
too
one
long.
of their other little caveats, and that was to stop underage smoking. And I was like, okay, so now you're just going to, I was like, that's what you tried to do
Yeah.
with vapes. So now you're just going to force kids from smoking things that might not taste as bad to now they're just going to go to smoking regular cigarettes.
Yeah, because that's what every kid does when they turn 18. They run out and buy a couple grape swishers.
Well, well, I mean, I did, but
I used to smoke they called them prime times.
I used to
Greg knows what I'm talking about.
I used to smoke the wood tip wines. I was like the first thing I bought when I turned 18 and could buy tobacco. I was like, let me go get a couple of wood tip wines.
Greg, when we played golf the other day, he had a couple of wood tip wines, and those things are slamming, especially for a golf course.
Yeah, they're great. The only reason I
cool.
don't like, well, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I don't actually smoke those like habitually is because I hate the taste it leaves in my mouth and the filmy
Yeah.
yuffiness that I get the next morning. I'm like,
Did you see that Caitlyn Jenner is running for office in
I
California
did
as
see
a
that.
Republican?
As a Republican, I was very surprised. I was like, of all the things that she could run as, I'm very surprised that she picked the Republican ticket to run on.
I got to be honest. Caitlyn is Caitlyn, and you can have your own views about her personal life. I was listening to what she's running on, the platform and the policies she's running on, and I was like, she's making a lot of sense right now.
Really? I haven't looked into it just because I thought it was whack. So for those of us that
live in-
haven't looked at it, what's the platform?
It's socially liberal, fiscal conservative, which is like, the hot button, like I'm not a liberal, I'm not a Republican, you know. It's like the classic like centrist view.
The new hot key terms for being a moderate.
Yeah. But it is very moderate. I mean, I didn't go into like great detail. In fact, I was just listening to either CNN or Fox News. I don't remember which one on the radio. And they were going over like her policies just kind of like briefly. And I was kind of thinking to myself, like, damn, if I lived in California,
not a bad candidate.
I might be voting for Caitlyn. Yeah, she seemed like she was making some good sense. So good for her. Yeah. Hey, listen, California needs all the fucking help it can get.
That's true. And if it comes from
a dumpster fire.
Yeah, if it comes from I don't want to sound crass, but it comes from a transgender individual that decided they wanted to run on a Republican platform, then fuck, bridge that gap. I'm here for it.
Speaking of California, sorry, I'm coming up with all these topics just off the top of my head now that I'm really thinking about it. Do you see where they were hosting, what was it last week? The Oscars?
Yeah, the Oscars was last week.
And they were doing sweeps of homeless people on the route to get to the Oscars.
Wow, they just cleaned up the homeless population.
The fucking beautiful thing, it's not beautiful, but the most ironic thing of all of this is they're sweeping up the homeless people so that the rich and the famous with their bodyguards can feel safe going to this glamorous event, so they can accept their award and then talk about how police brutality is ruining our country. Like, do you not see the fucking irony in this? Like, do you not? Am I crazy? Like,
no.
Am I not the only one who sees the fucking irony?
Like, that's just ironic as fuck. All the cops walk down the street and be like, shoo shoo, homeless people, the rich and the famous are coming.
The rich are coming, round up your shit and get out of here. So they can go stand on a stage in their fucking outfit that's worth what a home could be to some of those homeless people. And they're going to go stand up for you homeless people.
That we just forcibly removed.
That we just fucking booted so that you feel more comfortable going to this event with your armed fucking guards. Like, simulation, dude. I'm telling you. Yeah. Like, it's wild. It's a wild world out there.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Caitlyn Jenner, Greg asks what our thoughts are on Caitlyn Jenner saying biological boys should not compete in women's sports.
Oh, he did see that. She did say that. And I agree 100%. It's like we were talking about when Tony came on. Boys are born boys and they are genetically different. Yeah. They can't have periods. They can't get pregnant. You want to turn into a girl?
Fine.
Go ahead. Still can't get pregnant. Still not going to have a period. Just the way it is. That Zuby, that Canadian artist who declared himself as a girl for one day, went out and set the power clean record. He's very much a man, a strong man. It's insane. There was that video going around also of that transgender basketball player playing female basketball. We talked about that also.
Just out there just yamming on chicks.
Just out there fucking dunking on people. Like, yeah, you're going to put up 40 points a game. Like, if
it's like the
basketball player.
It's like the line out of Dave Chappelle's one of his most recent stand-up bits. It was like, they're all about equality. So he's like, well, either, we have the women can play in the NBA with the men and just get fucking destroyed, or they can have the WNBA and have their own league where everything is equal, basically, and do that. And he's like, or option 2, shut the fuck up. Like, there's a reason they went and fucking like made men's and women's sports, because we're biologically and genetically different. If like, as it would be perhaps this is gonna sound so insensitive, but it would be a little bit funny for a little while if they were like, fuck it, the women can play in the NBA, and now LeBron's out there just dropping 75 points a game. When the women's team comes to town, or not even the women's team, but if they integrate it, so now you have co-ed basketball. So like now you're just gonna exploit the weaknesses in the team. Like, and don't get me wrong, yes, there are plenty of women out there that can just ball with the big boys.
Yes,
100%. And that'd be good. But for the most part, on the whole, It'd be funny for a game or two to watch NBA All-Star just absolutely demolish another team because they went co-ed, and then everybody be like, "Oh fuck, maybe we should have kept it as a WNBA and NBA."
Did you see LeVar Ball throw that fucking alley-oop underhand pass from like half court to an alley-oop? It was phenomenal.
LaMelo?
Great play. Or LaMelo, yeah,
one of the Ball brothers.
Sorry. Yeah, the younger one. Yeah, whoever it is. How often do you see that in the WNBA? You don't, because I'm sorry to say it. I'm not sorry to say it. Men are stronger than women on the grand scale. There's a lot of women out there that could kick my ass and are a lot stronger than me.
100%.
But when you're talking about the best of the best, strongest in the world, there's a reason why there's a male and a female division to give women the same equal rights to win a championship as men. And if you put the world's strongest man and the world's strongest woman side by side, the man is going to be stronger. I'm sorry. I have nothing against females. Compete, do your thing. But if I have a daughter, I have a bonus daughter, and if she would go to high school and would be playing basketball against some kid that's out there dunking on all these girls, I'd be like, this is fucked up, dude. Get out of here. What are you doing? Go play with the guys. Yep. Like, you're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster. Go. Scoot. Mm-hmm. Go back to where the playing field is equal.
But anyway, that was just wow, we went on a tangent because we just went from fucking talking about Canada's C10 bill to women's sports. But yeah, basically the bill is not good for Canada.
Yeah, Gina Carano is being mentioned in the
yep. Medder's coming in talking. Yep, exactly. Same type of situation going back to when we were talking about that stuff at the beginning with Caitlyn Jenner. But yeah, Medders is right. And his comment was, Disney loves strong, empowered women so long as they vote blue.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as soon as they express their opinion in any way that is not in line with how Disney thinks politically, it's a problem.
It was funny at the Oscars, Tyler Perry won an award for something. I don't remember what it was. And he was up on stage saying, I refuse to hate somebody because the color of their skin. I refuse to hate someone because they're male or female. And he listed like 5 different things, and everybody's clapping. And he goes, I refuse to hate someone just because they're a police officer. And like all of the applause was cut in half. It's like, wait a minute, you loved what he was saying a second ago. Like,
now you want to just
hate. The guy's right.
Yeah, he's like what's his dude off of freaking Eric Andre's TV show, fucking Hannibal Buress. He's like, why are you booing me? I'm right. Like, like what? Like, or if your guys are into like Rick and Morty, when Rick's like, don't boo me, I know what makes you happy. Like,
yeah,
it's like the same thing. Compo's comment, I think a transgender male competing in male sports is fine, but a trans female competing in women's sports isn't cool. The goal of those laws isn't to be discriminatory, it's to even the playing field, which I think is essentially true. Coke just said, yes, they're like stirring the Gen Z mindset. That's why they talk shit about millennials and praise Gen Z, because they know they've got Gen Z distorted to their will and can push their agenda with their support. And that's going back toward like Disney with what they were talking about in the chat, but it's true.
Wish they could have had Ricky Gervais host the Oscars again, because that was really good Oscars.
I watched like the opening of that Oscars, not live, but like his opening monologue, and I was like, thank God, Ricky, thank you.
I would have loved to hear what he had to say about the homeless sweeps around.
It was just so great last year when he just called out everyone for being pedophiles, and you see all the old white dudes in the crowd just be like,
Tom Hanks is like.
And then there was that one old guy that was from like, I only remember him from Pirates of the Caribbean being Keira Knightley's dad, like the governor or whatever of that island, and he looked like mad pissed, and I was like, bingo, found one.
Got one. Investigate that guy.
Yeah. Like, he seems sus.
Yeah, I would have loved. He'll never be invited back.
No, not after that. That was awesome. I'm surprised they didn't like cut the feed and just get him off the stage.
Like, whoa, what are you saying up there? You can't. You're going against all the wokeness out there. Well, it's like McConaughey when he talks in his book, or maybe it was in an interview, I don't remember, people that he's like prayed with before, you know, like before a meal or something like that. And then them applauding him when he's getting an award. And then when he thanks God, a lot of people are like, you know, they stop clapping or whatever. And it's those same people that he has prayed with before and like talked about like religion and philosophy.
For their, they don't want to be, they don't want to get put in that grouping for their around their friends.
I'm trying to get my next gig, dog. Like, I'm not clapping for God. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't clap for police officers. It's trying to get casted.
Yeah, it's such a fucking Hollywood's such a fucking shit show. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about it before. I love Tom Hanks, and I really hope he's not a pedophile, but there's some weird shit that goes on with that old Tom Hanks guy. That dude that committed suicide. We've talked about that before. 2 days after he posted a video online saying, I am not suicidal.
Yeah.
Jumps off a bridge onto a car.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of sus. We don't have to get back into the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah.
That's wild to think that's kind of where like we
started. Our first like 5 episodes were about that.
Yeah. Some people didn't want to watch because they're like, I don't know about Pizzagate. Epstein's Island was a conspiracy theory at one point in time, and look what the fuck happened.
Yep.
Speaking of, where's Ghislaine Maxwell at these days?
Excuse me. I don't know. I haven't heard anything out of her for a while. Maybe they got done pumping all the information out of her, and now she's just sitting quietly, very heavily guarded.
In a paper cell.
With sleeping guards.
Well, yeah, they arrested her, and then a lot of those raids started coming out where they were finding kids in like mobile homes.
Yeah, they arrested her, and they squeezed all the information they could out of her. She probably looks like SpongeBob when he said he didn't need water right now. Greg said,
yeah.
Speaking about California, did you guys see they're releasing 60,000 felons to increase safety in the jails? What?
Oh yeah, the Giuliani raid too. I did not see that. Kind of like how they released that one guy out on bail after he killed his mother, stabbed her to death, and then he went out and kicked that Asian lady while those fucking security guards just sit and watched him. Good idea.
Yeah, super.
Look, if they're in jail on a drug charge, let them out.
Yeah, if it's a felony like a drug charge and it's nothing crazy, then okay.
Murder charge, keep their ass in there.
Yeah.
If you got caught, selling a little weed or shit, really whatever, any drug. I mean, maybe not any drug, but especially if it's a weed charge, non-violent weed charge, let them go. Let them out.
Yeah. Okay, so I did see something about this, but I didn't really look into it, so I'm going to do a quick browse through real fast. So the feds raid Rudy Giuliani's apartment and office in a Ukraine investigation.
Mm-hmm. They've been investigating him for a long time, but they finally got a warrant to search his Manhattan apartment. And of course, he's coming out and saying, this is basically criminal. This is, a political ploy, political movement. And the left is saying, no, he has ties to Ukraine and like a Ukraine business. And they're all fucking crooked.
Yeah, all of them.
They're all crooked. But I hate to sound generalized because I don't think Dan Crenshaw or even Tulsi Gabbard is crooked, right and left. But a lot of them are fucking crooked. If you've been in for that long, you've been in the establishment for that long, it's like Hunter Biden getting a fucking book deal for millions of dollars and all over fucking news media right now. Like, you can't tell me that there's not somebody stoking that fire so he can make a comeback, and he's Joe Biden's son, so he's gonna make a lot of money.
Right.
Or the dude was fucking sleeping next to a crack pipe like less than 2 years ago with a bunch of fucking underage kiddie porn on his laptop that he dropped off at a laptop repair shop and was so zoinked out of his mind that he just never went back to pick it up. And then the shop owner was like, what's on this laptop? And then the shop owner's like, oh shit, I should probably call the FBI because there's a lot of bad shit on this laptop. Fine.
It's fine.
Get him a book deal.
If
Just
you
get
wanna,
him a book deal.
you
It's
wanna,
fine.
you wanna hear us talk about that more? We have that episode up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
It was like 20 something. Yeah. So Rudy Giuliani's getting investigated because there's suspicion that he violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, in which he was lobbying on behalf of Ukraine for Trump, basically. So he's in some hot water right now while they investigate that. So that's the be all and end all of that. I'm sure we'll talk about that more when some more information comes out on it.
Oh yeah, here's the article on the 63,000 violent felons
Oh God.
onto the streets in effort to create a safer prison. Oh, I get it now. So they're releasing the violent criminals to create a safer prison environment.
Why not?
Nice. The goal is to increase incentives for the incarcerated population to practice good behavior and follow the rules while serving time and participate in rehabilitative and educational programs, which will lead to safer prisons. Okay, this is like the idea. I've been watching a lot of. There's like a show about prisons in like Germany and like
Yeah.
India. I've been watching a lot of them lately because it's kind of interesting. But the one in Germany that I watched last night or a couple nights ago, they're encouraged to participate in like counseling programs to reduce their sentence. And one of the guys is being, interviewed when this guy like goes behind the bars and he's like, he spends a couple days in prison, like talking to these guys. The guy's like, yeah, I do it to lower my sentence. Like, I don't
give a fuck.
I say what they want to hear me say, and it lowers my sentence. And I guarantee you, this dude went to jail because he broke this guy's jaw. This dude was smoking a joint at a pool where his kids were at, and he asked the guy to put the joint out, and the guy was like, no. And so the dude fucking walks up and breaks this dude's jaw with his fist. The one guy who the guy smoking was with, and he picks up a fucking cooler and hits the other guy with the cooler and breaks his jaw too.
God
so he
damn.
goes to jail for like 10 years. And they're talking to him like, in these counseling programs, and he's like, yeah, I could have handled the situation better. And the counselor's like, so do you feel bad for the guy that broke his jaw? And the guy like starts laughing. And the counselor's like, why are you laughing? He's like, oh yeah, no, I feel bad. He's laughing about the fact, he's reminiscing on the fact, like, yeah, dude, that was kind of badass. I broke that dude's jaw with that cooler. But like, yeah, no, I feel bad.
Yeah, that's funny. Wait, no, I meant no, it's
Never
not.
mind.
That's a tragic situation.
I didn't mean that. Yeah, I'm sure the guy, drinking out of the straw for 6 months.
That dude has the same energy as that video of, the guy that they're at like a family barbecue, and the guy it's like a British thing or whatever, and they like, or an Australian thing, and the kids are like fighting, and one kid like made the other kid cry, and so the dad just like slaps both the kids, and then everyone's like, the dude walks up, he's like, oh, you can't, he just wham slaps that one, and everybody just keeps coming at him, so he just keeps slapping people like back and forth, and then the cops come and he just slaps each one of the cops. Like, that's the same type of energy that dude has.
Yeah, you don't want to end up in a German prison.
Yeah. So, like, my thing with that is, like, why in the fuck did they not just release the non-violent felons and just leave the felons in there?
That would make sense.
Like, what? So we're gonna release felons that have violent charges and be like, we're aiming for a safer prison environment. Meanwhile, those felons are probably beating the shit out of the fucking white-collar criminals. And it's just like, but we're like, we're going to keep the non-violent prisoners in here because they need the rehabilitation.
Well, and you're in California, so good luck getting a firearm to protect yourself. Yeah, California's a fucking dumpster fire, dude.
Yeah.
I can't.
Big facts.
I can't believe the hypocrisy. I mean, I can. It's,
But it's still astounding.
Yeah. Simulation, bro.
Bro, for real. You know what else is a dumpster fire right now?
The border?
No. English Premier League soccer.
Oh yeah.
because they're trying to start this thing called the Europe Super League or whatever, and it's all just a money thing, and all the fans of all the soccer teams that are, or excuse me, football teams that are trying to like join that. The owners are trying to get like their teams to join. The fans are pissed,
You know what happened
absolutely pissed. And
is
today,
fucking Americans got in the mix because
exactly,
apparently,
that goes in with this. So like Manchester
yeah.
United, which when I like watching soccer, and when I get a chance to, sometimes I do sit down and watch like Manchester United. That's been my team for forever. Fans are big pissed, and they fucking broke into Old Trafford today and got the and this is a big rivalry game that happened today with been Manchester United and Liverpool, but that game got postponed because the fans are pissed. And the fans have been pissed for a while. They were big pissed back when the Glazer family, who is a United States family, the US family, bought Manchester United back in like 2005. And in 2005, that's when Manchester United went up on the stock market, and they were debt free back then. When the Glazer family bought them, they put that team into 455.5 million pounds, English pounds worth of debt, and have cost that team, it's estimated, cost that team in money and shit up to like £1 billion.
Welcome to America, folks. I hope you like your debt.
Yeah, pretty much. So the fans have been pissed about that since 2005. They were pissed for a little while. Manchester United was on the top of the Premier League. They had like 3 Premier League titles, a couple down seasons, all this other stuff. They were pissed at the manager now, who is what's his name? It's like Skarsgård. No, they changed. It's Alex Ferguson. He's a great manager for the team. And manager for them is the same as a head coach. He's a great manager. He's got really good football, soccer IQ, but he defended the Glazer family all the time, and so they're big pissed about that. So there's been shit going on for a long time, but now it's all boiling over because they're trying to do this dumb shit, which is mainly just for money and not to help the fans, and they haven't listened to the fans, not like one lick at all. So
God loves soccer fans.
passionate fan base,
those
very
crazy,
passionate.
Those crazy assholes. You gotta admire them. They're like, all right, you're not gonna listen. All right, we're just gonna break in and start shooting flares on the field before the game, and you're gonna have to cancel this shit. So, you ready to listen now? Ready to come to the table? Imagine if that happened in like the MLB or something.
If that happened in Atlanta after they moved the freaking All-Star game out of Atlanta,
it'd be wild.
it'd be fucking crazy.
It'd be insane.
Yeah.
Americans don't have that kind of, I mean, they're passionate. Maybe I could see like an NFL situation.
I could see Philly doing it. That fan base is pretty bananas.
You mean the same city where they had to fucking lube up light poles so people wouldn't climb on them and tear them down after they won the fucking Super Bowl?
Still climbed on them and tore them down anyway.
Still climbed on them, didn't stop them.
Didn't stop them at all. Still fucking destroyed their city when they won, destroys their city when they lose. Like, I don't know, man. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. The simulation is just absolutely in a disarray right now, and whoever's running it is trying to introduce code to fix it, and it's just causing more bugs.
I don't know if I'm ready for aliens or I'm ready for Jesus. Whoever.
Whichever one comes first, honestly, I don't care.
I'm ready for him. Bring him down. I'm tired. Your boy's tired. I can't believe it. It's wild out there.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh no, I was right. The manager so they have the coach or it was Ferguson. Now it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
Coke wants to hear about simulation theories.
Or simulation theories. Oh, I don't think we are, but there's some interesting stuff in there. I mean, I just say it as like a running joke and / meme, but I mean, there's some things every now and then that I'm like, what the fuck?
Rogan has that guy on that's a quantum physicist, and he breaks it out that the chances are higher that we're living in a simulation that we're not. And when that guy breaks it out, I'm like, son of a bitch.
I think the running theory is that the world did end in 2012 and that we just got put into a simulation when the world ended. One of the theories is.
I think the best theory is that, because it kind of ties into aliens also, that somehow, some way, the advanced human species is somehow put us into a simulation, and that aliens are actually an advanced form of us, and somehow we're part of this test, or we're sims, or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. But that's why fucking in the 70s the aliens touched down, and like the aliens, I hate saying it like that, but there's been many people interviewed that talked to these beings, where, and they were at schools.
Yep,
so
the schools,
to children, saying that technology is going to be the end of human civilization. And what's happening? Technology keeps on advancing, and people keep on hating each other more and more. And it kind of seems like they were onto something. I don't know,
Who knows? Luther said pretty much the Matrix. Yeah, basically. That's basically where we're at right now.
There's just Google search Joe Rogan simulation theories on YouTube, and your mind will be blown in about 10 minutes, because they talk about it often and laid out a lot smarter than my dumbass can break it out for anybody. It's believable to me. I don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah, like Coke said, like how we could break a lot of stuff down to mathematical formulas or algorithms, basically just code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or my theory also is that I'm on the fucking Truman Show and all of you assholes are in on it. And thanks a lot. And if that's true, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, shit, if I'm in on it, nobody's told me.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would say, Ben. Oh, boy. There are times in my head when I'm like, in the shower or something, I'm like, man, if I was on the Truman Show, today's episode would be pretty interesting.
I've had these weird, like, deja vu things happen, like kind of recently. Like, I actually had one the other day at work where it was, like, an exact conversation that I very clearly remember happened again. And I was like, wait, what? But it was like, when the first time, like, I guess when I had that happen, I was like, I wasn't in the Air Force when this happened. So why am I like, what? Like, was it a glitch in the Matrix and I, like, saw part of my storyline play out while I was sleeping one day or something? I don't know. Shit's weird.
Yeah. Oh, man. You want to talk about dreams and deja vu? I could go off on that tangent for a long time.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I don't understand it. I don't think there's a way that I'll ever understand it in my lifetime. I know there's a lot more shit out there than I could ever understand, and it's a lot more diverse and complicated than what 95% of people think
like the people that are clued in more than us say that can post things, but can't post everything because of NDAs. Like, we just got to get real comfortable real fast with understanding that we're not the only beings in the universe.
Yeah. Have you seen that? I'm sure you've seen that video of that guy walking down the street, and it's like a security cam, like outside of like a convenience store or something. And there's one guy walking, and then there's another guy walking up behind him, and they look eerily similar. And the guy taps the other guy on the shoulder, and he turns around just in time for this big fucking like gate thing that got loose that would have just completely obliterated him, probably killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And like right as he gets tapped on the shoulder, he turns around and he sees it, and he moves out of the way like in perfect time. And the guy's just standing there like, what the fuck just happened? And then obviously like the comment, the caption is, guy had traveled back in time to save his own life or something like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
And all the people below are like, oh, would he travel back in time if he was dead? I'm like, you really want to fucking try to pretend like you understand
time travel? You're like the space-time continuum?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. Like, no. If time travel is real, it goes a long way past fucking life and death shit, bro.
Like there's point, like the minimal understanding that I have under it is like you can literally travel to any point in time, and it's not contingent on basically like what happens at one point. Like and then there's the possibility of like multiple timelines fracturing off.
You should see if you can find that video. I'm sure you can. For people who haven't seen it, because it's pretty fucking like. Yeah, there's
what would I even search for that? Holy shit!
Just search Guy travels back in time to save his own life or something like that. I'm sure it'll pop up. Because again, I'm not saying that that's actually what happened, but it's pretty fucking eerie. Like, it's pretty weird how it all plays out, and in perfect time. And the guy who taps the other guy on the shoulder like just keeps walking, and then the guy's just standing there all by himself. Like, what the fuck just happened? These conversations I had in high school after our sessions and turning on the Universe show. Oh, I remember those days well, Gregors.
Now I'm getting a lot of like dudes helping dudes not commit suicide. A lot of anime videos.
It's like from Russia or something. I bet I can find it.
I don't know.
Yeah, watch an episode of Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, that shit's whack. Aliens.
Aliens.
But yeah. I don't know. Chat, you got anything else for us?
The Mayans built the pyramids.
Just over an hour in here, so we're kind of sort of getting to that point.
It's been an hour already? Jesus.
Yeah.
Time flies. I'll find this video real quick.
All right. Well, Alex is looking that up. Does anybody else have anything for us? But I don't know. Things are whack. It was like honestly, it feels like for the most part a pretty quiet week. Actually, it's been a little while since we've had a quiet week, and it might just been quiet because we didn't really I didn't really get any big headlines about anything pop up. So
here we go, Ben. I found it.
Look at you.
I'll email it to you real quick.
Okay.
Bing, bing. And it's on YouTube, so we don't have to worry about any copyright bullshit.
So we say.
Yeah, for now, I guess.
Find out when I go to upload this later.
I was going to say, I haven't checked the email in a while.
Good. All right. Let me open this up.
Are we going to see you guys? Are we going to see you guys talk about minimum wage?
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, we've talked about it in the past.
We could do a whole podcast if you want.
My thoughts are, if I had to summarize it in a couple sentences, should everybody be able to make a workable wage? Yes. Is minimum wage designed to support the average adult with a couple of children? No. If you raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour, are you going to see places like McDonald's, big stores cut the labor force from 50 people to just say 30 people? Yes. So it's a good idea in theory. I would love for everyone to make I'd love everybody to be rich and all of us just walk around without a care in the world about money. But that's not the real life that we live in. Right. So.
All right, here goes Alex Times Traveler video. No audio, guys. Oh, I have seen that before. Huh, hold on a minute.
Pretty fucking weird.
Homeboy walking down the street, other dude comes out of the doorway. Yeah. This guy's like, hey, man.
And the fact that he's like all dark and kind of like you can't really make out his face.
I mean, if I watch this again, I think, so this dude's walking down the street, maybe, and if I want to be super logical about this, maybe he hears the car over here coming and maybe just knows that this gate's about to swing after this car and is like, hey, man, watch out. Like, what? And then, here comes the gate.
The dude doesn't even turn around at all. He just taps the guy on the shoulder.
I don't know. That's whack.
Pretty weird.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Not going to pretend to. Don't think I ever will in my lifetime. Right. But if heaven's a thing, and I think it is, I'm gonna have some questions when I get up there.
A lot of questions. Well, and if
Yeah,
heaven's a thing and all that kind of stuff, then we can go down the rabbit hole of like, well, when you get there, it's not really going to matter.
you're not gonna.
You can get in some real biblical stuff right there, where all that stuff from this life isn't going to matter anymore.
I explain things of the earth to you that you do not understand, and you expect me to explain heavenly things to you. I'm paraphrasing
Yeah,
Jesus' quote, but that's the gist of it.
that's the gist of it. Yeah,
bro, I tell you stuff about things going on down here that you can see and feel that you don't even believe me about, and you want me to try to sit and explain
each
heaven
other.
to
Yeah,
you? Can't happen.
yeah,
It's like trying to teach a cow to speak English.
yeah. It's just not
It's
going
not
to
gonna
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
Don't have the capacity.
Yeah, Coke did mention that he thinks it's very possible that we aren't the first civilization with technology on this planet. There have been 4 or 5 mass extinctions, and the last one happened like 500 million years ago. And look how far we've gotten. He said we don't have to go before the mass extinction, but can we talk about post Great Flood civilization?
That, especially when you get into biblical context about pre and post flood, one thing that the Bible catches fire for all the time is that, it says that people used to live to like 250 years old.
Fuck no, they lived longer than that.
Yeah.
People were living upwards of 500 to 700 years. Like Methuselah was almost 1,000 years old.
Yeah. And there's a really interesting theory that post flood is when our atmosphere was damaged. And that's when basically UV and like the sun's rays and the way that our body is aged, that post the flood, that sped up the process so people don't live as long. I'm kind of butchering that a little bit. Sorry, I kind of get not put on the hot seat, but just off of the top,
Yeah.
That's what I got for you. And old world versus new world, from a biblical perspective, is a very interesting argument.
Right,
also.
and well, like how Coke just said, ancient civilization have the same story across them, which you could pull again more biblical stuff into that. Before the Tower of Babel, everyone spoke the same language. You want to get into that whole thing when the Tower of Babel was getting built, they were trying to get to heaven on the Tower of Babel, and then God said nope and scrambled everybody's language. So maybe there's a metaphor in there, maybe there's not. Maybe it was not God. Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was, I don't know. But maybe things were getting too advanced. So,
and the Tower of Babel is that's one of my favorite stories from the Bible. And it's one of the things that, like, if you talk to an atheist, that's a good argument for like saying that God is cruel or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically what it was is some dude was like, I am high, I'm mighty. Like, if this God is so big and strong, I'm going to build a tower and get up there and talk to him. God was like, no, dude, go on, skedaddle. You go that way, towers down. And now you speak different languages.
And he karate chop Pangea into different countries.
Yeah, and people also forget that the Old Testament was mainly word of mouth. It was told by storytelling over time.
First 5 books of the Bible were written by one person who had to go and collect stories from like a bunch of different people.
Yeah. And when they sat down and had the council of, can't remember it. When they all sat down and were like, okay, we have all these stories. Like, what's real? The canon is what they called it.
Yep.
What's real? What are we going to put into the Bible? Because there's a couple books of the Bible that
there's a whole section
know about
in the Catholic Bible. There's like 5 or 6 books in the Catholic Bible that they're only in the Catholic Bible. You won't find them in a Protestant Bible.
There's a whole book or a whole chapter on Mary that's very interesting, and Jesus that portrays. I'm talking Mary Magdalene, not Mary.
Yeah, not Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Yeah, that's where like the argument comes from, that like Mary Magdalene was like Jesus's wife or girlfriend or whatever, and they sat down and basically said, no, this isn't scripture. This is just like man-made stories. But who the fuck knows, dude?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
That's the way to go.
Yep. Shit's whack. We may not never know.
If Eve never ate the apple.
Damn it, Eve.
Adam is just as much to blame.
Facts. He didn't say no strong enough.
And as soon as God came back, God was like, "What's going on here?" And
Adam's like, "Nah, it's cool, bro." And he was like, "Nah, what's going on?" He was like, "Hey, the chick you gave me, she fucked up, bro." And God was like, "But you ate the apple too." And he said, I don't know, man. That pussy fire. I ain't want to give that up.
I mean, you do have a point here.
You gave me the good coochie, man. I couldn't, like,
The asteroid struck the North Pole.
Ice cap, and it set off the flood in the Ice Age that happened between 12,000, 15,000 years ago. Da Vinci Code. Possible.
Adam didn't know. God told him, just like he told Eve, "Hey, don't eat those apples."
Adam was back there going, "Scotty doesn't know."
It's like, well, it does look kind of tasty, and the snake's making a good point. Maybe I should just have a little bite.
Just one
little bite.
I like how we said it's an apple, but it just said forbidden fruit, so we don't even know what actual fruit it was. But he was like, "Hey, yo, girl, that shit looking mad tasty. Let me get a piece." She said, "I thought you said no," and he's like, "I changed my mind."
Vicky is listening and agrees with the Mary of Magdalene thing. That's a very maybe we can talk about that on a podcast soon.
I mean, it'd be an interesting story to get into a theological breakdown.
I'd have to go back through my biblical.
We could do it with your pastor friend if he can come on.
Yeah,
we might have to change the day just so we can get him on.
Yeah, we might have to do that on like a Thursday or a Friday or something. So yeah. He wants to come on. Dude, I didn't know. Shout out to Lambert, Zach. He is on Twitter. You can go follow him. And that dude gets like thousands of likes and retweets on biblical, like scholarly tweets and stuff. Recently, he's been, like when Lil Nas released those blood shoes, he's like, if Christians are really worried about blood shoes, we got a lot more fish to fry. Like we got a lot of other things to worry about right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such as the persecution of like homosexuals. But who am I? Or priests and their habits behind closed doors with altar boys,
Fuckers.
But again, who am I?
Yeah, I mean, what do you what? I don't want to sound crass, but like, what do you expect is going to happen when you tell an entire fucking religious leadership group that they can't have sex? And in nowhere and no way, shape, or form does the Bible ever say you can't do that.
In fact, the Bible specifically says a man should leave his mother and father and find a woman. Like, it's
and even when later on when Paul was talking about setting up the church and stuff, and he's like, if you can't find a woman or you don't want to like whatever, like that's cool, and you just want to focus on the studies and be a priest or a religious leader, then like cool. But he never once said you can't be married.
No. So. Some of us pull the Job card, and it sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah. And then priests are just like, no, sorry, God's your wife.
God's your wife. Now you're married to the church. Also, don't do anything.
There's maybe we'll end with this. There's a really good scene in 2 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, where after she goes and gets the billboards and causes this big commotion in the small Missouri town, the priest in town comes over, and she's been out at the bar and getting drunk because her daughter got raped and murdered. Yeah. And the priest is sitting at the dining room table with her son, and she walks in, and the priest is like, I've been meaning to talk to you, and you should really take those billboards down. And he goes, she says, you know what I was thinking, Father? You know how, when you're in a gang and you are with your gang members, and maybe you don't even know that there's a rival gang in town, but you walk into a convenience store with your gang friends, and one of the other of your gang members shoots and kills that gang member. They call that culpability. Even though you didn't kill that person, you're just as culpable as your gang member. And I got to thinking about Catholic priests and little boys, and in my eyes, that's culpability.
Fucking
She's
got
like,
him.
so I'm gonna fucking politely to ask you to get the fuck out of my dining room.
Nice. Fucking got him.
Anyway,
Anyways. Anyway, well, chat. I think that's about everything we've got. Coke, I know
hour
you're over
20.
here talking about the meteor impact and stuff, and I feel like we can get into that.
As always, send us
Send us the stuff.
texts,
Text us, DM,
DMs,
whatever.
whatever. If you want us to talk about something in particular, that way I'm not just going off the dome for stuff that I kind of know half about. I can
Right.
actually dig back through the archives and come up with some more meaningful, not rhetoric, facts, I guess to
Some
say.
more founded things, I guess. Or
Yeah.
But anyway. Well, with that, we're gonna leave you guys for the week. YouTube, as always, appreciate you, all y'all over there. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, all that good stuff.
Smash that like button.
Send it to your friends, your family, your dog that seems smart. I don't know. All that good stuff.
COVID dog. Send it to your COVID
Send it
dog.
to your COVID sniffing dog, who apparently has a higher IQ than most dogs. Um, the Council of Nicaea. Yep, that's the one.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Wanted to push the males as leaders. The thing is, it's a Roman and European thing as males dominate. But yeah, exactly. Thank you, Coke. But anyway, we'll leave you guys with all that for the week. Have a good week. Have a safe week. If you guys come across anything that you want us to talk about next week, like we said, DM us, tweet at us, whatever.
We'll be here.
We'll be here. And with that, we'll leave you guys. And y'all have a good week. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay educated, and don't fall prey to propaganda.
Yeah. Fuck propaganda, man.
Peace, y'all.
Bye. Love you guys.